Howdy Survivor, and welcome back to another tutorial for ARK Survival Ascended. Today I'm going to be building this small train station that is perfect to add to your first base, or maybe to a location where you want to have a little outpost but you still want to be able to stop your train there. I think this is a fun little design for any train station. I've included a estimated material list down in the pinned comment below, but keep in mind that the platform, so the foundation the build is going to be standing on, isn't included in that list because you probably want to make a bigger platform than just this build. And if you're wondering how to do the rest of the platform, so not the main structure that I'm going to be showing you in this tutorial, I did this design on my live stream, so you can still watch that back on the channel to see how I worked on the areas surrounding this main build as well. With that being said, let's get into it and let's build a train station. Okay, for this train station we're gonna want to have at least a foundation that is this big, and let's show you exactly how big this is. You're gonna want a 3x6 foundation for the main house part, like the main building. That's gonna be this one, so 3 wide and then 6 deep, and then right attached to it is going to be 4 deep, and then it's going to be 6 long again. So again, the house part is 3x6, and then the part next to it is 4x6. So in total this line is 9, and then you have like the little weird shape going on like this. This is just where the exact building is going to be. Of course, you probably want to make some walkways around it, or maybe a bigger platform for your train to arrive at, but that's completely up to you. If you want to see the variation that I made here, like the whole platform, the whole way I did this, I designed this whole base live on stream, so you can always watch that back to see exactly what I did and how I designed that. But this will of course very much depend on where exactly you're planning on building your train station. Okay, let's get started with the main building. First of all, we're going to place down a door frame right here, double door, because we want to have some nice saloon doors, and then we'll just build a nice wall around it. This one in the middle is going to be 4 high, and the other ones are going to be 3 high. And actually what you could do, and probably should do to add a little bit more detail, is add in some windows right here, and then of course we can add in all the doors as well. So this is going to be the front of the little main building that we have going on. Then what I always like to do is first place down all the doors. I'll have a back entrance right there for like staff to get into and out of the main building, and that's pretty much it. We are going to have some custom windows in some places, so to get that started is placing 2 quarter walls right there. The same we'll do right here and right there, so one from the wall basically, and we'll have one on this side right here as well. Then we can just grab a normal wall and start filling this in normally. We'll leave the space open for where we're going to have the custom little window, and then we're gonna just fill in the rest to kind of get the base shape for our building going here. You want to grab your quarter walls again and fill out the top of this as well, so that we can just about fit our custom window design in there. We should have windows looking like this, and we can fill them in with the tall doorway so that we have like a narrow window in the gaps that we've created. We'll do that on all of the sides. That's just easier to do it all at once. And we'll take out the thin pillar. Make sure you get the right snap point so it sticks out into the middle like so. Then you'll have another pillar on top of it. And then you can have some beams connecting like this, which makes for a very nice window design. And then we'll do that, of course, for all of the windows. I usually think it's the easiest just to go around, place all the pillars in first, then go around and place in all the beams, so you don't have to keep switching the material around every time. So you end up with a bunch of these cool looking windows, and if you want you can even add in some bigger, thicker beams on the bottom and on the top, because it kind of looks like, you know, you have like a window frame even more, so kind of like adding those around as well. Then we want to improve the shape here of the top of the building. We'll add in some quarter walls right there so that we can actually snap another thin pillar here. We're going to instantly also change the textures to the frontier skins here because it's going to be harder once we finish the rest of the building. And then what you want to do is snap your pillar right here like so it sticks out one to the side. And then we can fill in the other quarter walls as well to finish off this shape. And then we can have a pillar on top as well, just to get like a little funky roof design here on the end of the building. We'll take out our normal pillars as well and go up from the bottom, connecting them all the way up just to make that line complete. And we'll have a beam going across like so as well. And that is pretty much the front design here of the building. That means that we can start filling it in. We're gonna have some quarter walls going up like so to give a little bit more shape to this front part. Then you can probably guess it, we're gonna have some quarter ceilings here to fill in this shape as well. And we're gonna build it up all the way to the top here as well with some more quarter walls and quarter ceilings to finish the shape like this. Then we're going to start adding in a little edge for the roof of this building. So we'll attach some quarter ceilings around the building on the side like this, as well as here on the other side as well. So just connecting them, creating this little lip on the side basically, like so. And this is also that we can start creating the roof shape here. So you want to get the right snap point by cycling through them until you get this one. And then we can just fill in these like normal, and then you should be able to finish the roof shape like this, having a nice and easy one with a little overlap on the side, which is really nice, of course. Now we actually want to create the same shape here on this side, but obviously we have already a different front, so we're going to just hide it behind it as well. And then we can do the same, filling these in, and again having the roof shape here on top. Now this part is actually depending on whether you're building on official or not. If you're on official, you probably don't want to do this part at all because you won't be able to place anything overlapping into it. But if you're not on official, you can now still have some quarter walls to finish off this shape and fill in some of these gaps that we've created to make sure that you don't have any holes in your building, just so you can have the complete shape. You actually also want to make sure that you can still change all these textures, because sometimes when you overlap them it becomes a little bit more difficult, but you should be able to click all of them and get them to change to the frontier skins. Then we can finally fill in the roof like so, and it will overlap on the back of the building as well, so you can just connect it normally without any issues using the snap points we've created with the little lip on the side of the building. And there we go, we have a nicely filled in roof as well. We want to add in some pillars and beams here on the back, so we're going to continue a beam from one side to the other and then have some pillars going down like so to have a little bit more of a support to the building on the back side as well. And personally I always like to add in a pillar here as well, just to add another support beam for the top part of the building too. And of course don't forget about adding in the door here on the back, so that we basically have this whole creation almost done. Now first up, we want to start updating some of these textures here on the front, so that we can finally see what our build actually is going to look like if we use the Frontier pack, which most likely you will have if you are interested in building a train station, of course. But you could technically also just use the normal wood textures, of course. I like to make these into the glass texture just because they look nice, and then we can change the doors into some saloon doors as well. Then we want to grab a billboard, and we actually want to make sure that we kind of center it with the structures that we have. I like to take off snapping so that I can make sure that it isn't too much in the walls. And I can just align it on the edge of the beam that we have. We'll place it right down. And we should be able to change the look to, of course, the nice frontier skin. And if you add in some text, make sure to get it to a nice size so everyone knows where they've arrived. And you probably want to add in a fun name for your train station as well. Of course, we also want to start updating the textures for the entire building to finally see what this whole thing looks like. So I'll just go around and click everything in sight to make it all the nice, cool frontier skins. I really love the way this wood looks, and especially, of course, for these kind of buildings to have the Western vibe. It's a really nice texture and a really cool skin to use. And then the building turns into something that looks like this, which is much more like a proper Western train station. Okay, then it's time to build the overhang and the shelter that will turn this place into a proper train station that you can actually wait on a train for. We're gonna use some thin pillars. We're gonna start by placing those two right in front of the building that we just made, and then we want to keep the gaps 3 wide each time and place 2 more of those pillars, and we'll do those on the back here as well, so that we have all these supports in place like this. Okay, then we're gonna place a temporary wall right next to this pillar, and we're gonna grab our ramp and we're gonna get the right snap point like this so that we can create the overhang, and then you can take out the wall. It was just needed to make it a whole lot easier to get the right snap point, and we'll connect our ramps like this. We'll extend it upwards a little bit right here. And then we want to do the same thing here on the other side as well. So we just want to extend this roof that we're making out of these ramps all the way until we have a nice bit of shelter to use and wait for a train. That's not everything. We want to make sure that we connect some quarter ceilings to the edge of it, just to make a little overhang on the outside of this shelter. So we want to do that on both sides, just going along and adding a little ledge to this build, which just adds that extra little bit of detail to it all. There we go. So it should look something like this. And then what you want to do is grab some quarter walls, turn it into railings, and add some railings underneath here as well, because they really help with like adding some supports. And I actually really like to do that in these places here as well, just to complete the look. Of course, we can't do it here, but we can still do it here and there as well, just to add in that extra little bit of support for this overhanging roof structure. And then we actually want to add in a beam on the top of the roof as well, just as a little bit of an extra detail. And if you want, you could even do that on the top of the roof of the main building too. And then it's the favorite time. Again, it's time to change all the skins to the frontier skins so that we have our proper Western looking train station. So we'll just go around and click everything again to change the looks to the frontier pack. And there we go, we have our little train station complete with the shelter where you can wait for the train to arrive. Now obviously you want to probably expand this a little bit with a platform all around the build so you have more space to wait on your train, but that's completely up to you and of course to your landscape. Okay, there we go. Let's do a little walkthrough of my train station. As you can see, I built quite a big platform around it all. I actually have it a quarter ceiling away from the train rails and then a quarter wall above the height of the train track, because of course the train is a little bit higher than the actual track itself. So this feels like a reasonable height and a reasonable gap between the train and the platform. And then you can see the structure we've just built. You can of course add in some extra hanging signs to make the names more clear, adding some lights to details or some plants, a bunch of boxes that's like goods that you're transporting with the train, some benches to wait on, and like there's actually a bunch of things that you can add in as decoration now, which are just all part of the game. Maybe even some cages for some specific small little dinos that you want to transport as well. Now what I've done is that everywhere where you wouldn't be getting on the train, I have added in some railings here along the platform. But wherever you would get on the train, of course, you don't have those at all. We have a little space here at the back as well for the staff entrance. I haven't actually decorated the inside of the building yet, but you can definitely make a nice little building here. Maybe as part of your base, like if it's just an outpost somewhere along your train tracks, or, you know, maybe more on theme of an actual train station. And then at some places, of course, you want to have some stairs to get on and off to your platform for your train. But yeah, this is how cozy this little train station gets. But yeah, that is basically it for this train station. I really enjoy it. I think it's a nice smaller one, which is easy to maybe add to some outposts or maybe some resource locations where you want to have a train station so you can travel back and forth. I also think it's always wise to add in like a water tower somewhere close, because it will provide you water. You're able to grow some crops around. Of course, all very helpful. And it just adds to the theme as well, having a little bit of these decorations around. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.